Hey y'all, I'm Karyn.
And I'm Mingo.
And this is the Mingo and Karyn Show. Yay.
Yep.
We're excited to be here with you all today. And just to give you a little bit of a background of who we are, we started a podcast a couple of years ago and then decided, hey, why don't we start a YouTube channel so people can see us and see how we interact and how we talk with each other. Because of course it translated well in our podcast, but we just wanted to be able to see the people and let the people see us.
And now we're here.
And so just also to let you know that we've been married for 27 years.
And counting.
Yep, we have 4 adult children and a granddaughter.
Yep.
And we are empty nesters now. Where we ain't got nobody we got to come home and cook for or anything like that. So the reason why we decided to start this is because we wanted to talk to people about how we made it this far. You know, our personal journey, just how we were able to stay married, and how we were able to navigate through life.
And we don't mind being transparent. One of the things I wish we would have had as a young couple was an older couple or a more mature or seasoned couple that was willing to share with us, this is how we did it. And what happened was we didn't see that and we didn't have that and we end up becoming that.
Absolutely.
And it's like, wow, it just looked up one day and it was like 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 25 years. Now it's 27 and now we're getting close to 28 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't feel like that. It feel like day one.
Like when we met when we were 19. And so we do offer more than just relationship advice. We also offer life advice. And I think, all of us right now, I know for me, I ain't going to be speaking for y'all, so I ain't going to say all of us. My bad, y'all. But right now, we have these dreams and things that we believe in, just like all of you out there. And we wanted to set a reminder for ourselves today, so we decided to share it with you all that, it's time to just push through. It's time to we got to push through, y'all. I know sometimes it just feels like, oh my gosh, it's a whole lot going on, but you got to keep believing no matter what.
Yeah, and when you talking about no matter what, I mean no matter what.
No matter what.
Your dreams or what you want, what you want to accomplish, you keep pushing and you keep pushing and you keep pushing. And sometimes life will push back, but you push back harder. You keep pushing and you keep pushing and you don't give up. You don't let anyone tell you what you can't do, especially yourself. You just keep pushing and you keep believing, because I'm the type of person, I believe that every day could be that day.
Absolutely. And you have to remind yourself of that. It's been times, you think about this, how long ago we talked about doing this, and it has literally it was like in our maybe late 20s that we had started to kind of navigate through this. So I can say it's at least been 15 to 20 years, between 15 and 20 years that we thought about doing this. And imagine if we had just given up. Imagine if we didn't just push through and say, okay, we could see ourselves being the Mingo and Karyn Show. We could see ourselves being of value to people like we wish people would have been of value to us in the same regard. And I don't mean that we didn't have valuable people in our lives.
We absolutely have valuable people.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, as a whole couple, to see us and for you all to be able to see that we can say, hey, we want to be transparent about things that we have gone through and learned, and we want to be able to tell y'all how to do it too.
And I believe we are the manifestation of what we wish we had. We had to live some more things to be able to bring more to the table.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that our advice is the end all be all. We just offer a perspective, because when you're young in a relationship, you don't know what's right. You don't know what's wrong. You basing it on your family. I'm basing it on my family. We making some stuff up. We just trying to get it. We just trying to be together. And then sometimes you go through those different obstacles, and then you go through some amazing times. And then we just kind of happen to be a blueprint that we think could work. I'm not saying a blueprint from A to Z, but I'm saying there's a lot of letters in the alphabet. Just pick one, because we are very transparent. We don't mind talking about it. We don't feel ashamed about it. We don't feel embarrassed about it. And I just personally, as a young man, I wish I would have had another young man that said, or a little bit older person, just sat me down and said, hey man, I know it's different times. I know things may appear to be different, but it's kind of the same thing, just in a different time zone.
And just to kind of give you all, maybe I share a story with you about pushing through. Like this, and so as Mingo talks about us being transparent, back when the recession happened, when the Great Recession happened back in the early 2000s, And, you know, we were doing, y'all know our background is in real estate, so we were doing it well. We had a beautiful home. We had money in the bank. I mean, we had it going on to be young people, to be in our 30s. And we just knew like we were living in our dream home and everything was going to be fine. And then real estate and the economy and everything crashed. We lost everything.
But the love of us and our children and our family, that's all we had.
And so to kind of tell you that's exactly right. But to tell you that how we push through that. Number one, we push through with love of each other because no matter what, even with our children, all of them, you know, being adults now and being productive adults and graduating from college and things like that, you know, we were able to keep our unit tight and to prioritize what we needed to at the time. But it was the depression for me, the sadness for me and things like that. Sometimes it was hard to push through. And so I'm literally telling you that we went through that and it was a devastating time. However, we pushed through enough to have this, y'all. If we can push through enough to have this, whatever you got going on right now, I know the circumstances seem crazy.
It does.
Don't listen to it. Don't pay attention to it. Don't focus on it. You got to be able to keep believing no matter what. You pushing through no matter what. If you just got a little bit of an ounce of belief.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. Just tell yourself, you know what? It might not have happened today, but it's going to happen.
But, you know, we had to keep in mind one thing, you know, piggybacking on Karyn's, you know, story of what she's telling what happened with us. We didn't take it out on one another.
We didn't.
That was important because during those times, people like to play the blame game. Everybody doesn't do that, but somebody will say, well, because, you know, as just being people, you would say, hey, if I had not bought this and I saved that, I would have had it at this time. That's like saying right house, wrong neighborhood. Well, it just ain't gonna happen.
And we had enough savings. We had enough savings to sustain us, but when you don't have money coming in, you're gonna run through it.
It's gonna run out. Yeah. And we you know, we don't get distracted. You cannot allow yourself to get distracted. You almost have to be like those racehorses. You know, they put those blinders on them so they can run at their full capacity without, you know, swaying lanes. Those horses are focused on getting to the finish line. You have to be intentional like that in your life. You cannot get distracted. And now, I'm not going to get into details on what distraction can be because, you know, I don't want to step on no toes and I don't want to step on my own toes. You know what I'm saying? Distractions can come in many forms. I'm going to just say that. It could be family. It could be work. It could be one another. Or first, and you know who it can be most of the time?
You.
That person in the mirror. And we don't like to acknowledge that. You distract yourself because you don't want to accept what it is, where you are, and what you can and cannot do. It is very difficult to tell yourself no in some cases.
Yeah, and then the circumstances, I think a phase that I kind of went through was, you know, having to say, okay, it was like, oh my God, had we not lost everything, you know, this game me and my son played. The way I just did that cadence, it just made me think about that. But anyway, and so, but I can remember times when I was just like, you know, we did everything we were supposed to do right. We had the money saved up in the years with the income and blah, 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 all these things. And we were ready to do this and just blaming life for being life, right? And so understanding that I couldn't let the focus solely be on my circumstances. I couldn't let the focus be on my circumstances to keep me distracted from ultimately overcoming where we were because it was a really difficult time. And that's why it's important for me to even share with you all that okay, your circumstances, you might not be where you want to be. You might not live where you want to live. For your career, if you're not where you want to be in your career, you still cannot give up. You've got to not let your circumstances dictate your actions and your thoughts.
Because, you know, dictating your thoughts and your actions, like you say, if you think you can't do something, you will not physically do it.
Nope.
It's just not going to happen. But you hear, you know, great people who go on to do great things and they talk about what they have overcome, what they push through. Because sometimes you have to be your own cheerleader. Karyn is my greatest cheerleader ever. But sometimes I got to cheer for myself. I have to believe what she's saying. I have to echo that in my mind, almost like I have to constantly hear it to myself to say, hey, you are great. You are meant to do amazing things in this world because I don't think anything is by happenstance. I think everything has already been preordained for you to accomplish it. And you have to believe that. If you don't believe that, you won't achieve that.
Oh, that was good.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think also with one of the things I had to learn and understand is how to flow through life.
Yeah.
And
natural flow of life.
Yeah, and I believe that we would not have even though it was tragic at the time to me, and it still kind of is mind-blowing that we overcame those times, we wouldn't have this wisdom to tell you this on the Mingo and Karyn Show had we not gone through it.
I agree, 100%.
Yes, and so sometimes we go, oh, well, if this didn't happen, then I wouldn't be here. If that didn't happen, then this would, no, sometimes when things are blocked in your life.
For a reason.
It's for a reason. When things flow in your life, it's for a reason. Rivers don't go, ooh, it's a tree. I'm flowing. But it's a tree right there. Let me stop. Yeah, it finds a way to just continue to flow. You got to look at your life that way. You got to look at your life like something that you're flowing through. So though your circumstances may not be where you want them to be right now, you can't allow yourself to get distracted and think that this isn't where you're supposed to be. And I'm not talking about believing in your dreams. I'm saying letting whatever it is going on outside of you dictate how you make your moves and how you believe.
And when you think about that, wherever you are today, it is a reason you are there.
Yes.
And if you want to do something different and move beyond that point, you got to do something different.
Yeah.
It may not happen in one day. It might not happen in 1 week. I remember it was like last year, and it was this guy who said he worked for the government. He said he worked for the government for 30 years.
Wow.
And throughout that time, he was writing a little bitty piece of his book. It took him 30 years to write this book. And then when he retired, he let his book out.
Wow.
And now he's an author.
Wow.
And then other people's stories, it might happen quickly. That one just stood out to me because that's what you call pushing through, not giving up, not being distracted. That is a great example of that. And I feel like all of us have that in us. And now if you're okay where you are in life and you say, hey, this is what I grew up in, and this is where my family is today, I applaud you. I applaud you because different people make the world go round.
Yeah, everybody's path is different.
And for some people who say, okay, this was my circumstance, but I want something beyond, I can't get myself. I just have to believe they can be so amazing that I can be maybe the people I see on TV. Or maybe the people
that's like the Mingo and Karyn Show.
But you have to believe like that. Me and Karyn joke about it, but y'all, we really believe this.
Yeah.
We would not be taking out our time if we didn't wish we didn't have this. Now, maybe had we gotten this, we might not be here today.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't really been a need type thing. It would have been like, I don't know why I'm doing this. This right here is so impactful to us.
Yes.
Because we're saying these are just one of thousands of things we could talk about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we just pick and choose things that say, hey, when we was going through this, how do we get through that? And sometimes when you revisit those things, sometimes you think about those things, you're like, wow, how do we get through that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because it's not, sometimes it's not easy to keep your focus in that way and to make sure that you are not allowing life to just do whatever it wants to do with you. It's like, you know what I'm saying? But you have to take, first of all, sometimes you just got to slow down, pay attention to what's going on around you. And it doesn't mean that what's going on around you gets to dictate who you are. It means that you're paying attention enough to go with whatever flow you need to go within your life.
You said that. I remember in our 20s, our 30s, and our 40s, you used to say, slow down and quiet the noise.
Quiet the noise.
Stop those distractions. Stop those things that's not letting you focus.
Yes.
And then focus on what it is. Let it flow. Deal with it. Face it. Because just because you don't choose to face it, don't mean it's not there. And I just think that quiet the noise thing you talked about, it really worked for me personally.
Well, the Mingo and Karyn Show is a natural flow of where we're supposed to be. Because we had talked about it so many years before. This is the time that feels right. You know why it feels right? Because we're literally doing it.
Because you're doing it.
Everything that we need, we have in order to be able to do this the way that we want to do it. We see it on a much bigger scale. And we want to be able to attract and touch so many more people. But for right now, I believe that who we're supposed to be touching right now, those are the people that we're touching. And it will spread how it's supposed to because we've already seen it. But we're not going, oh my God, oh my gosh, well, okay, well, we got this here and that there. No, there are strategies and things that we're going to put in place, but it doesn't dictate the information we give to our audience. It doesn't dictate how we believe the Mingo and Karyn show, should actually flow. And so you just make sure, I remember, speaking of which, another story. After we had lost everything, to kind of give you a continuation, we ended up having to stay with my mom. Now, can you imagine? I got a husband, some children, and me, and a dog. staying with my mom. And Mingo and I, at the time, the job market was like crazy, horrible. And we have college degrees, so we were trying to use our degrees. I remember I got to a final stage of a job or a career. I was going to just take a different path. And so as I'm, doing my interviews, I finally get to the last part. And the guy literally told me, he was like, you have a really great resume, but you're in real estate. And so most real estate agents, when the market is back good, they'll go back into real estate. And for that reason, I can't give you the job. It's like, what?
Like,
Yeah. And so that happened more often than not for both of us. Yeah. And it was a devastating thing, but we always, even no matter how sad we were sometimes, no matter how it felt like, for me, I was very hopeless at that time, I still always had just that little bit of light, little bit of something that told me I needed to push through because it wasn't going to look like this always. So for somebody who is looking bleak right now, it ain't going to look like this always. Get up and go and pick yourself up. And if you have to go look in the mirror and just encourage yourself to say, listen, you need to push through, then you do that.
You said a couple of things that just made a couple of bells and whistles go off in my head. You think about a dark room.
You didn't hear my bells?
Yeah, I heard your bells.
Oh, okay.
You didn't hear them again.
Ding, 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 ding.
Appreciate it. Okay, you're talking about a dark room. You don't need but a little bit of light.
Well,
just a little bit of light to know it's not darkness everywhere. You don't necessarily want to just be in a dark room.
Right.
But all you need is just a little bit of something to push you on. And you're closer than you think. I mean, you think about farmers and different people like them who they basically water soil
and seeds
in efforts that this crop is going to come through.
A harvest,
And that's what we feel about life. When you know you're closer than you think, I have a short story because we storytellers.
Come on, give it to me.
So
I done told all my business today. Give us your story.
Karyn was talking to a family member, and the family member said, "Hey, somebody came up to me and said, I really love that show of your family member. I really love that show." And they say, I tune in every week because I love this show. That's letting us know we're closer than we think. We're talking about the show, but it's people tuning in, reaching out, asking questions, participating in this thing we call life.
And this is somebody in a whole other state that knew my relative.
Yeah, you just literally walked up on them and said, hey, I watched this show. And the relative said, man, I felt so good about them asking me about this. It was like, well, wow. Wow, I really appreciate that. And that
and we want to say shout out to that person. They know who they are.
We do.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. And that's why when sometimes you walk into what you need to become.
Woo, wait, hold on. Can I get a moment? Okay.
Sometimes you walk into where you're supposed to be before you even know you're there. You ever heard that saying, you can't see the forest from the tree? You can't appreciate the tree because you're standing in the forest. You have to be able to know that you're going through the flow of life and you're doing what you're supposed to do. We are all amazing people. I wish I would have had more people tell me that as a young man, as a teenage man. Then when I became a married man, oh God, my wife and kids, they told me how much they love me all day long. But sometimes I didn't believe it.
Yeah, baby.
I didn't even believe it because I'm saying in my mind, where did they get that from?
He's literally asked that before, like, why do kids call me hero?
But now we talk about this body of work. And when I talk about body of work, this life together, this union, this was designed the day we met. We just didn't know it yet.
That's right.
We wasn't ready for it.
I agree.
That's why we had to go through some more things. We've always been empathetic people.
Yes.
But you can really show empathy when you walked a mile in somebody's shoes.
Well,
so you can say, hey, it took me a mile to get there, but because I've been through it, it should take you 10 steps.
That's all.
That's the
or
point.
Maybe you shouldn't have had them shoes on.
Exactly. That's the point of this show. I just told my oldest son probably a couple of months ago. I said to him, if it took me this long to get it, I'm giving you the roadmap. You should get it much quicker than me. And his children should get it much quicker than him. That's the way this is supposed to work. That's why we understand that the Mingo and Karyn Show is bigger than just Mingo and Karyn.
Absolutely.
These are life experiences that are verified, you know?
And I think that we're called, I feel like this show is about us using the information we have and giving it to you for you to live and learn from what you can learn from us. And because this is way bigger than the Mingo and Karyn Show. This and what we want to do, the impact that we want to make was not something we just came up with. This is something that's been in us for a very long time. Yeah. And when you wake up every day, say to yourself that today is a day that's closer. You think about this, if we're here 15, 20 years later, and we can continue to believe that today is the day, today is the day, today is the day, you can keep saying that, and then one day, something will start to manifest, something will start to come true. You know, even with our marriage, we knew that we wanted to be grandparents. So like you said in one of the other episodes, we didn't go, well, shoot, well, we got to stay married for 5 years. You know, I'm being funny, but so that's why I'm saying you're closer than what you think. If you can look past it, push through these circumstances and just believe, you are closer than you think. I don't know who it is that I'm speaking to about this, but right now you are watching our video and you might be feeling down and sad. Pick your head up.
Keep your head up.
Pick it up and say that shake off that worry, shake off that fear, and get in your own game.
Yep.
Be your own best player. Be your own best coach in your own game. You got this. You are so close. You're so close to having everything that you've ever dreamed of because it's there for you. It's already there. It was already there before you thought of it. It's just sometimes when you're traveling, right? And say we want to travel to another city, where you don't just go from sitting in your living room to appearing in the city.
You're playing.
You got to plan and you got to go down the path. You got to have a roadmap. Sometimes depending on how short or long your trip is, depending on whether you're flying or you driving. But there is a path. There's a path to a corner store.
Yeah.
It's always a path there. Just believe that you're on the path right now. Believe that you're on the path to where it is that you're supposed to be going, because that path that you're on, this path that we've been through all these years, is leading to the destination that we expected it to be and we expect to see.
And you know what you're saying, believing costs you nothing.
Nothing.
It costs you nothing, but it costs you everything if you do nothing.
Oh, and if you do nothing and you have to start over. I ain't willing to do that.
Yeah, see, so a lot of us, some of y'all are day one in the game, and some of y'all are 27 years in the game. Yeah. Some of y'all are 50 years in the game. But you have to believe you have something to contribute.
Yes.
You have to believe that you have something to give. We believe that relationships are the greatest thing ever. To have a friend, a lover, a partner, a confidant, an encourager, to just have that all in one person. That's like having all your favorite things on one plate.
Wow.
And when you have that, you can do anything. I feel like I can do anything short of flying.
Yeah.
Like literally. I feel like I can do anything. I feel like I can talk to anyone.
Yes, man.
I feel like I can understand anybody. But I also don't believe I could have done that had I not been through a lot of different things.
I agree.
Because sometimes, if we knew beforehand the things we had to go through to become who we are today, we would run away.
We would.
We would go the other direction. We would somebody say, that was really difficult, what you went through. If you had to do it again, would you? No. I absolutely wouldn't. But sometimes you get that strength, just you alone. But then when you bring a partner in there that helps strengthen you, and then you all present this united front. And I know we always talking about couple stuff. So if you are single and you want to be in a relationship, these are things that could help.
But you can also be on your own path and still be closer to your dreams. We just have somebody that we can navigate that path with to be closer. But I think what you're saying is extraordinarily valuable in that, you know, we do have each other as best friends and we do have support systems. So for our single people out there, you know, your support system may be your good friend. You know, you may have
be a sibling.
It might be a parent. Yeah. It might, you know, but as you're navigating through, sometimes you need an encouraging word. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need for somebody to say, hey, you know what, Karyn, I see you know, today is not a great day for you. I'm going to need for you to have one, though. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to need for you to, because I see it on your face or I feel it in, you know, when I walk in the room like you've seen
in a nosedive. We got to pull you up.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it feels good when you're trying to do something that nobody else has done that you know, that somebody said, I see you.
Yeah.
See, that's how I felt when your relatives said, hey, somebody said, I tune into your show every week. And it's like,
whoa, okay.
Out of everything they can look at.
Yeah.
They take time out of their life to look at our show.
Yeah.
I don't even know this person.
Yeah.
I know nothing about this person. But something we are saying is resonating in their life.
Absolutely.
And so when somebody says, I see you, they're saying, you know, that's like a pat on the back. That's like an attaboy. You're doing a good job. Karyn, you're doing a good job with your life. You're an amazing mother. You're an amazing wife, daughter, sister, friend, sorrow, everything. You're amazing in all those places. And I couldn't imagine going through life and I didn't have somebody just tell me that sometimes.
Right. Know? Absolutely. And, you know, just the thing that just is weighing the heaviest on me now is for me to give just a little bit of hope out there to someone. So even if you feel like you don't have anyone, you have us.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna tell you that today, if you know, it's been kind of one of those days, tomorrow wake up and know that you are closer. Just say that to yourself. I mean, just 2 words, I'm closer. I'm closer. And whatever it is that you're closer to reaching, you're going to have that and you're going to have it soon. Just remember, every day gets you closer to that. And so just make sure that you are pushing through what you're feeling, pushing through what you're dealing with, pushing through anything that life puts in your way that feels like it's a distraction for you, because that's what it is. You got to call it what it is in order to be able to navigate around it.
Yeah.
It's just a distraction. And you have to not let your circumstances of your life dictate how you are, who you are, how you move, what you do. You got this. You got this. You are so much closer this time. I know you've tried before. I know you may have failed before. I know you almost gave up. But this time, you're closer and you can't quit. Please don't give up on yourself. This is something that I'm having to learn to tell myself on a regular basis, just to wake up and believe that.
Yeah.
To wake up and believe that. And so, as always, we appreciate you all.
We do.
Tuning in to us, for supporting us. Man, the support is like crazy. Yes. And we just want to wish you happy relationship building.
Happy relationship building.
Something of the time, love is what we're made of.